Yo, grand afternoon. That's a new one. I've never said that. In the spirit of saying new things and doing new things today and letting go of all the rules. I just want to do some energy recognition, some energy healing, and to replace all of the projections and expectations and energy that's not mine that might sit in my aura to remove. I'll say remove, like rebuke and remove if it was one word. To remove and to uh, return all of its energy to where it belongs, to hex and take back my energy from those that tried to take it, and etc., 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 because we're witches and Satanists and magicians and all that other shit. And we just allow ourselves to be. And I just saw an omen that said fine line. I saw another omen yesterday that said may be seen as non-compliance. And what I've noticed is that in my life, whenever I start to embody my beliefs, those that think that they have the ability to control me will do everything that they can to control me. And so there's sometimes some doubt in my mind about speaking up and wanting to say what I want to say and expressing myself in the ways that I want to, because I've experienced a lot of adverse reactions. And I still, to this day, experience adverse reactions for speaking my mind and deciding what I don't like. I've overstepped my own boundaries many times to make other people feel better, and I've been unhappy every time because of it. So we just started a new folder on the laptop with the number 2. The numerology, the number 2 is harmony, cooperation, and emotional intelligence, often associated with partnerships and diplomacy. It's considered a feminine energy, emphasizing sensitivity, intuition, and the ability to mediate conflicts. So this is an interesting spot. A lot of my life up to this point has been about fighting the man, being hard-headed, saying things that I know will piss people off and will ruffle their feathers, not because I want them mad, but because I'm letting you know that there's nothing that you can do to tell me no. And as beautiful as that is, to have that fire within you, what my mind just went to is conflicts. But remove the idea of conflicts of others, conflicts with others. How about conflict of the self? You see a life of harmony somehow becoming something that seems and feels disharmonious. And you could blame it on the energies of people from the past and etc., 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 but they don't actually exist. They may exist on a screen, but what are you actually experiencing in the present life that you have? I'm looking at myself in the camera and I think it's changing the way that I give this message, so let me stop. And that's another part, is that the ego is a tricky thing, because the ego, when you see it and when you become close to it, when you become associated with it, is a name that you know and a thing that you're attached to. And again, luckily for myself, I'm quite hard-headed. We was born in the year of the ram. I was born in the year of the ram. We was born way before that. And point is that I've seen this message over and over and over in my life. I think I interpreted it the wrong way because I wanted to be stubborn, and that's exactly what the message was. The message is always love. The message is always acceptance. The message is always patience. The message is always to hold the space for those to recognize their faults. But what we see is ram, and we see stay hard-headed, stick with your path, and stick with yourself, and stick with what speaks to you. And there's both things can be true at the same time. Right? Let's say, for example, not loving my posture right now. We have an ultimate love for the world, and we wish nothing but benefit and betterment and all these different things for different people. But seemingly a lot of them have shady intention. And when you speak up your mind, regardless of whether or not it's right and just, they will oppose you. I've had experience after experience after experience where maybe it has to do with myself because maybe I'm not healing the mother wound and the father wound, and it shows up in different archetypes in my life that think that they have that place over me, and they don't. Almost like, instead of me demonizing the Bible, because it's not true at surface value, but it is true. And so I always like to poke fun at it, because I'm making fun of the fact that you're so stupid to believe these things, even though I know that you're not. Even though I know that what someone doesn't know is as much as they know. And so I'm hearing stomping, just stomping, like being too present, being too powerful, being too strong. I'm hearing a releasing of air, like a hydraulic brake system. But he released off the brakes. He didn't press the brakes. Assuming that it's a he, and knowing that I'm psychic, it's probably a he. And it's a trash driver. So personally, we've never seen a female trash driver. So if you're a female trash driver, trash woman, shout out to you. But say what you will about feminism, you don't see too many female trash drivers or oil riggers. Not that those is necessary jobs anyways, and we support feminism in a sense, but not what it is and what the modern equivalent of it is, and it's just, it's diminishing to both the masculine and the feminine. And you know what, on that topic, let's speak on diminishing the feminine. So we always had this desire to do things that spoke to us. However, the people that we came around and the things that we came around, it was always like, oh, these people are jealous of me, these people don't support me, these people don't want to see me win, etc., etc. But maybe I was winning and I still was hurt by my family, right? Maybe everyone around me didn't think I was crazy, but I still thought that people were thinking that about me because of the things that were said to me, because of the things that were forced on me, because of what was created in my head and in my mind after they existed in actual reality. Because of what I knew and how much it hurt and how much I experienced it, when in reality, the only time that I experienced that was with my family. Karmic. And so we say this to say that there was a lot of implication energy constantly that we just ignored and decided to be hard-headed on about femininity and softness, right? But we had so much anger inside of us that I have to say all this. And you know what? Maybe we do. And maybe that's another part of it, is honoring that self. But if you continue to honor that self, if you continue to allow venom to exist, then how powerful are you really? And how much better are you than others? You still live in low vibration, you still live in lust. You know better and you choose worse, that's on you. You can choose not to belittle people because of their beliefs, because you don't agree with them, that's on you. You can choose to find peace and solace in the moment and recognize that you don't have to always share everything. Cooperation. We don't like that. We don't. We don't like cooperation with the wrong individuals, is a better way to put that. But who's the wrong individual? Who is responsible for their lack of knowledge? Who's responsible for their lack of seeing? Now, if I put it in front of your face as heartfelt and open as I could, and you still ignored it, deceived it, or made fun of it, then I'd take it on I'd take it a lot better, and I wouldn't take it on myself. Careful with those spells. And that's another thing, is that everything that we know is true, but we're using it for evil. And that's also the evolution of these archetypes that you chose to be because you knew that they spoke to you. That's the evolution of these stories, these characters, because that's really what it is an energy that speaks to something from the unconscious, and the unconscious knows all, even when you think that it's just a human doing some bullshit. And so there's all these energies of fear and doubt and worry because they want you not to do it. Whoever they is, and maybe they is just in your own head. Be careful of what you demonize and what you believe, because it can only be true if you give it power. And remember that if there is energies that exist and are disconnected from source energy, I just spit onto the you key. They're you. They're you. They're all a reflection of you. The world outside of you that's unhealed is the world inside of you that's unhealed. And you may recognize certain behaviors in certain people and certain individuals and certain whatevers, and it's okay to keep your distance, and it's okay to be safe. But you don't have to be. And the universe points to a sad face. It's interesting that spit's being used to deliver these messages right now, because it's like such a thing that I'd be so like trying to protect. I get it now. Continually crashing out, pushing people away. Allowing them to think whatever they want about me. I'm just thinking of my peers, my friends, my exes, these people that I loved, and I couldn't show it. Did I ruin them? Yes. Did I hurt them? Yes. Conflicts, feminine energy, intelligence. I don't want people to heal. That's something that we notice right now. I don't want people to heal. I don't want to forgive my parents. I don't want to forgive my sister. I don't want to forgive my brother. I don't want to forgive my ex-girlfriend. I don't want to forgive my friends that abandoned me and got angry with me for having boundaries. I don't want to forgive these people, but I also want to recognize that they don't know any better. Partnerships and diplomacy. We came across a sign yesterday that said love, and we came into the cemetery with a lot of I don't care what you say energy. And I don't, but I do. And what if people can't actually drain you? What if they can only take from you because you allow them to? What if all these energy healings and all these things that you constantly have to go through is because you don't have control over yourself? What if you're anxious because you're uncomfortable with the truth that exists in your life? What if you can't sit still because you're not safe? And I've been denying it. I hasn't been listening. I's been going, no, that ain't it. No, they don't know what they're talking about. I know what I'm talking about. I know better than they do. And there's so many things to doubt and to be concerned about and to wonder. But if you knew, then you wouldn't care. And what if you didn't need to at all, anything, any of it? What if we accounted for all of the I's mistakes? What if we accounted for everything that you could fuck up? And what if we accounted for you still being good? And the I's speaking to me right now, and it says, please not again. Please not again. I can do this. I love being outside. I love being in nature, but please don't take away my safety again. Don't hurt me because I'm just expressing what I like. Don't tell me I'm wrong, and don't abandon me. There's some sadness coming up right now. There's some pain. There's some feelings that no matter what we do, we'll become the martyr, the problem, and the enemy. That no matter what we do, we can't succeed and live a life of wealth and abundance while doing what truly speaks to us. We're feeling a lot of drainage right now, like maybe we're not actually pulling from the divine energy, and that we can tune in better to that. We're feeling some concern with the opinions of others and the over-listening of others and the nosiness of others and the desire to keep tabs on what you're doing. And we want to say, what if nobody actually cares? And again, what if that's a wound that you have from the past? How do you heal that? How do you choose to see differently? And also, how do you deal with the fact that there is truth in some of these things? That you show love and openness and people show jealousy. That you show etc., and they show adverse and alarm. To be alarmed. Drop it and stop. What if reality is only a creation of your mind? And what if these things, these entities, these leeches, these narcissists only exist because you feed them? And what if you just said, I love you? What if you just said, all power to you and all my power to me? What if you just said, I don't claim any of your negativity and I have love for you? What if they're not negative? What if you don't actually know how to face demons? What if you're hiding behind the mask of, I speak to benevolent spirits, I speak to this, I speak to that, because your psyche only accepts the good? What if there's something internally wrong with you that goes back to fear? You're afraid. You're afraid to die. You're afraid to be yourself. You're afraid of death. You're afraid of death. You're afraid of death. Whatever you can tell me that you're feeling, if it's this idea of I can't do this because of this, you're afraid of death. Death. We don't want to explain that to you. We feel like if you know, you know. And that's a big theme as well, is explanation and over-explanation and over-exertion of energy to a point where it becomes draining. How can you be so talented yet so unseen? And what are you doing wrong? feel, know, believe, focus. I unsure. Flashing. Pride. And this one's tough as well because, well, it ain't tough. It's just true. And so how does one deal with it? What we want to say is when we chose life the way that we did, and when we live life the way that we do, and when we see things the way that we see, and when we experience in the ways that we experience, how could we not have pride? How could we not be proud? Of course I'm proud of who I am. Of course I'm proud of what I believe. Be careful in the words that you accept because they want you to feel lesser. Who's they? They might not exist. And that's another point. What if everything, including the lesser desired aspects of self and life, are a fragment of your imagination? What if your brain, Olive Tapenade, oh my fucking god, there was this restaurant, oh, okay, so she might be a little upset with me, she might be thinking about me, she might be, apologies if I hurt you and if I did something wrong to you. I'm known to be an asshole in the past and hopefully not in the future, but but hopefully not in the future. I just don't want that anymore for my life, and I keep going back. And funny enough, it's every time that I find this, like, wait, I'm everything that I thought I was and more. Negative experience in my life happens, again emulating fatherly or motherly figures that just take me a little bit off my focus, right? It's like, okay, yesterday I was feeling so much love. I went into this place without so much love. I experienced what was out of line from this man because ultimately I'm going to a cemetery to do my thing, to speak to what speaks to me. Like, it's none of your business whether or not I fucking do or don't talk to you. It's super selfish, and it shows that you actually just care about the fact that you don't feel seen by me, because you don't treat other people like this because they do what they're supposed to do. Hey man, how you doing? I'm not your friend. I don't want to be your friend. And I wish you well. So anyway, maybe that's a bit harsh, and we can say that we do want to be your friend, but we have boundaries and we respect ourselves, and we decide what ultimately is best for us. And what I actually learned from, again, an ex-girlfriend of mine, all love to her, is that you just can't trust a lot of these. We're receiving right now that maybe she was also us, and we weren't listening because we didn't want to hear the feminine. Because we're hard-headed masculine, and we didn't want to listen to her requests, and we didn't listen to what she was saying that was actually true, and so then we'd listen to people's perversions and people's feelings about how they've been treated in relationships and what they wanted to project onto us, and we told ourselves that she was a bitch, and she was a cheating hoe, and she was a liar, and she was a this, when in reality, we didn't get with the program, and she was way too fucking patient. And there was this woman I came across years ago when I first was going through this breakup, and she basically said the men tend to come back around a few years later recognizing that I was right. And I was like, no, she fucking wasn't. She gonna be laughing in my face for this one. And I feel like she's known too. That's why I've always been so like worried about like hurting her too much, because I'm being way out of my character. But at the same time, anybody that actually loved you would know that and would recognize like, wait, I made some mistakes and he's really hurt, and I was patient until I wasn't. So then we wonder, like, left side clicking in the jaw, something's not clicking, and we're hearing it clicking because something's not clicking. Maybe she actually just wanted us to be angry. Maybe she wanted us to be what she told us to be. Because there was a lot of behaviors that came from her as well that were nagging and controlling, but also keeping in mind that I feel very sensitive right now, super sensitive. I hear everything. Hi everyone. You happy with me now? Of course. And so, I don't know where we was going with that, but we know where we was going with that. And it was about the fact that maybe she was actually the only person that saw a lot of bullshit. And maybe also that she had a lot of unhealed wounds as well. And this brings us to this idea of divine union, the thing that I've been so stubborn to and hard-headed to, because the truth is that I was just hurt. Oh. And you know, it's funny because the universe picks interesting messengers for these things. God favors the bold, right? God favors those who he speaks to. And God also favors thieves and liars and people who have made mistakes, but people who are pure-hearted. God favors the pure-hearted, meaning that we've done things that didn't speak to us because we thought we had to do them, but ultimately we always knew the truth. And we always knew when to listen. And grateful for you to be 22, or we feel like that diminishes our power because people will see us differently because of the age that we carry in this life and not the age that we carry through existence. And the I doesn't even know what that is yet. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's still too much in his lower nature to tune into the things that truly speak to him. So we had to get him out. That felt a bit egotistical, right? Like trying to separate the I and the we, and like when you try to do it, it don't work the same. So wherever we was, yesterday we did some yoga. First time in a long time that we did, and it allowed us to just recognize the state of mind, even for a glimpse. And then a longer glimpse, and then a longer glimpse. And this conflict that I'd been having for a long time, that I couldn't heal my life because, let's come back to that if it's important. Something just came in. Back to this idea of the universe picks interesting messengers. Clearly, I'm not perfect, right? You can see it in my appearance that there's aspects of me that aren't perfect. And if this didn't exist, I'd have perfect teeth, right? My ego would be too big. If I kept manicuring myself, my ego would be too big. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But it's that it would have been for the wrong reasons. If you can't accept your darkest nature, you can't accept your darkest parts of self, and all that means is the things that you avoid, your world won't accept you for who you truly are. Because you are living in an old program. One that don't serve you. One where you just feel pain and hurt because you feel hurt. And another thing that we recognize is that there was a there was a witch that was doing energy healing and Reiki that I was watching earlier today and yesterday, and something that I noticed with her was lines in her face, and I have some right here, aggression, right? Like obviously, but what we noticed was lines in her face, and what that said to me was like, well, why would I listen to somebody who clearly doesn't have everything taken care of on their own? 213. And again, all love to her and all power to her. But sometimes people might be projecting a bit more than healing. A mentor of mine, her name was Louise Hay, she said, lines in the face are thoughts that you keep holding on to. Right now I'm feeling remorse. Right now I'm feeling maybe a bit of regret. Not because we're mad at you, and not because ultimately we don't care, right? Like that's the point, is you can't fuck it up. You were supposed to fuck it up. You were supposed to ruin it. Anything that's truly meant for you will be untouchable. Something's not clicking. My jaw keeps clicking. Maybe we're just working through it. It's like every time I talk. Every single time. It's intuitive, influential, and so much more. Read. Partnerships, harmony, cooperation, and emotional. I don't feel like we have much to say. I don't like how my jaw keep clicking. I don't like how I don't know what that means. I don't like how I care. I don't like how my posture's not great. What if some of these healers still don't recognize their divine nature as well? What if they're hiding behind the facets of witchcraft and different things, not because those things aren't true, but because it ain't the ultimate power? And again, not in a religious sense, not in a go to church and read a Bible and follow God in that way. But in more of a, you don't know the self. Click, the jaw. Revenge, anger, loose fit. Be a loose fit? Not in my nature. I don't want a lot of friends. I want real friends. I don't want a lot of hoes. I want real women. I don't care about a lot of shit. I really don't. And I keep picking up on these energies like I'm supposed to, because all these people see my greatness and they want to project themselves into me to make sure that I can be that conduit. And that might be too intense for some people to even recognize. But there's time and time after time again when I find myself on the verge of being in love, something may or may not convince me to go back to being untamed. Untamed to me, to us, to I, to whatever, don't speak to this, or this, or this, or this. It speaks to this. Everything I do is to push away the wrong people. Everything. Every single thing that I do is to push away the wrong people. And what if all that energy pushing away the wrong people is allowing you to not attract the right ones? You already know that they're wrong. So if you don't forgive them and you don't let them show up to you, then you can't allow truth to be true. We had a friend one time, and I love this friend, I really do. I lived an amazing life with him. I felt so close to him. I felt so connected to him. But he was obviously going through something, because every time that I spoke my mind and didn't agree with him, he got angry. And maybe that's the truth about who he was, but maybe he also had gone through these cycles and these relationships because he was also demonized by his family, told that there were things wrong with him. It was, you feel me, forced into situations he didn't want to be in, and it traumatized him. That was my friend. And something just came up that I don't really want to speak about. We don't know how to speak about it. Like, there's judgment here to where it's like, well, yeah, but like if I say this, then they're going to think I'm gay. And I can't explain this to them because I'm not gay. And it's like, well, even if you were, what do it matter? You know what I mean? Like, why do people care so much about what you do and what you don't do? You know what you like, you know what you don't like. It don't matter how you say something or how you don't say something. People will judge you regardless. That's kind of the whole point. So say the things that make them uncomfortable, because you want to see who can't think. You want to see who can't feel. So this friend of mine, again, and this may or may not be true, but I never would have expected this from him, and I didn't see these things, but I had a girlfriend one time, and she's like, "Isn't he gay?" And I was like, "No." But then I'm sure people look at me and they see me, you know, wearing a certain outfit or doing a certain thing. They might think the same thing. And so maybe that speaks to her, again, toxic types of influences growing up. And I had a dream one time that we were in front of all of our town at like a club, and everybody was looking at us and laughing at us, and we were wrestling. And then he tried to stick a finger in my butt. And I've had situations with people in my life. Maybe it's because I grew up in the suburbs and like they just be doing weird shit sometimes. People will sometimes actually try to like jokingly like put a finger in your butt. And like, you like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And so like, I don't even know how to explain that shit. I don't know how to, you feel me? But I think there's been one situation where someone tried to like literally violate my body. And I was just taught to be the nicer, bigger person. That nigga should have been hospitalized. You feel me? There is no fucking reason anybody should even be touching me, let alone trying to do some bullshit like that. I had this dude I was in high school with that I pretended to be friends with. He pantsed me in front of the entire fucking school when we were just walking. I don't think anyone ever saw it because I'm just protected like that. I pulled my pants up faster than they went down. But he got the underwear and the shorts, and again, should have beat the living shit out of him. Could have beat the living shit out of him. Betrayal after betrayal after betrayal after betrayal, 222. And so there's a lot of pain. And some of these niggas may or may not be actually gay. Which is just like, just be gay. Like, be gay and stop being gay. You know what I mean? The universe embodies so many different archetypes that what you believe and what you decide is only true because you believe and you decide it and you know that about yourself. Right? Everything else is a projection. Everything else is an insecurity. Everything else is maybe a indoctrination. And you know, back to that dream and back to that idea of the dream, first of all, maybe that girl was also intuitive. Maybe not. I can't say and I don't know, but I brought this up to him, this dream that I had. I brought it up to him because I was like, to me, man, it just represents like a what you would call it, a disrespecting of my boundaries and like a forceful representation of your own. And he got upset with me. That don't mean that I was wrong, though. Because, like, what if it all go back to this idea that everything in this reality is sexual? Everything in this reality is energetically sexual energy, right? So when men try to dominate you, whether it be energetically, physically, putting hands on you, disrespecting your boundaries, personally, well, we don't care about what you believe personally. I know what the eye wants to do to people like that. The universe takes care of its karma. Aggression. Okay, another thing we wanted to speak on. Look at this. That tooth right there is a canine. It's a piercing tooth. It eats and you know what I mean? It rips and like supposedly represents aggression. This tooth crumbled. And we want to say like, oh, we being too angry, we being too this. No, if you have anger, you're not being angry enough. You might be putting it in the wrong places, which make you feel shameful for doing it. But if you have anger and your body's decaying because of it, and your structure is envious and angry because of it, do you see what we're saying? This isn't supposed to speak to everybody. It's supposed to speak to people. And so what if the body can heal itself, but we haven't been healing? What if the body can heal itself? I don't know if I'm better off looking here or at myself. Probably myself, because you know this is mirror magic that we're doing right now. What if the body can heal itself, but you don't want to listen? And what if I just love you? And what if you just let them be? What if something's not clicking? Click in the jaw. What if you just trust that it's taken care of? What if you just exist? You know what's so interesting about divine love? You'll begin to see things that you don't normally see. When you choose to be God, you see God. And you know God. What if you being your true self is actually a lot more uncomfortable than you think to everybody? My back really hurts. My lower back really hurts. Life doesn't support me. Life doesn't love me. That's what lower back pain is to us as far as we know right now. Hopefully I don't flash all too crazy. I only got a towel on. So, pain, just tightness in the back. Making fun of my mother, my sister, my exes, women. Seeing women for who they really are, and then choosing to see them for what they're doing. As if they're not just listening to what the fuck I tell them to do. Rolling my eyes because I don't agree with that. Rolling my eyes because I don't accept that. And I don't believe that anybody with true integrity would ever fucking listen to anything that I tell them to do just because I tell them to do it. That's not a woman. But at the same time, everyone is a woman. A lot of them are diminished because of the world that we live in, and people like you. People like you that say you can't put your hands on your hips because that's gay. You can't stand like this, which low-key you do have an unhealed imbalance in your hips, but like, you can do whatever you need to do to express whatever you need to express in that moment. How do you know that this isn't directing energy in a certain way? How do you know that this isn't doing whatever you need it to do for you? You're doubting your nature because you want to be cool, and cool people fucking suck. They suck all the time, and anytime you try to fit in with them, you won't. And if you do, it'll be because you're lesser and so much lesser than who you truly is. To the point that when you start becoming yourself, all those people that you loved and that were your friends hate you. They laugh at you. They make fun of you because they see how human you are and how inhuman they are. Peace of mind because everybody is doing the best that they know. And that's why it's like, I just love you. I just have love for you. I couldn't even be mad at you because I'm above that. I'm not better than you because I'm rich. I'm rich because I'm better than you. Wealth is in the mind, not what you see. A feeling that someone's listening and watching or laughing at me, and whether or not that's true, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. 231. It doesn't matter. And more importantly, if it doesn't matter, then it won't become matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You don't gotta say everything. You don't gotta explain it. You don't gotta say you're dead to me. You don't gotta say, because it doesn't matter. If you're looking for a reason and a processing as to why these things are true, then you'll put your own implications on it, which I think we're doing right now. So give us a second to calm down and come back and relax. We're seeing integrity, we're seeing confidence, we're seeing focus. We're seeing enlightened, right? And when we wrote that, it was very specifically enlightened and not enlightened. Because we're already enlightened, we're not enlightening others. We're using our power for our own selfish gain. Back to the story of Lucifer. When we lost our hard drive, I was so concerned with the music that I lost, or the different things that I lost. But you can make it all again. You can do it all again. You're more concerned about people having access to things about you that you might not want them to have access to. And I promise you, if that man, boy, whatever you feel the need to call him, but he's a man and he's responsible for his actions. If that man stole what you think he stole, he will not make it very far. He might not make it to tomorrow. He might not make it to the next week. Understood? Now that you've chosen not to be nice to your abusers and your takers, let them die. And the universe will take care of them in whatever way that it needs to. Why would you pick up a gun or a knife and get revenge on those that do you dirty? And I know how painful it is, but what if you could just know that those that steal from you actually needed whatever they stole from you way more than the internal thing that you can't change? I don't think we delivered that the best way, but you get what I'm saying. I'm seeing CIA. I'm seeing CIA, and I'm so reluctant to say this because I don't want to be deemed as crazy, but the CIA has literally admitted to being remote viewers and having psychics and having different people. So, like, how hard would it be to implement and put people into people's lives when you recognize that they're recognizing their power? Like, how deep could you just go and think, like, what if this is true? What if this is true? Not even that you believe it's true, but what if it's possible? Right? People like to say, like, oh, there's voices and blah, 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 just because you question reality. I'm not hearing anything out of my mind. Nothing's telling me to do anything heinous. These are all coming from me. Just an epiphany that I just had. It's like, well, what if my family on a soul level isn't actually my family? And what if I chose them? What if the CIA don't actually exist? And then again, what if it do? And even if it did, who cares? I remember I did a bar. I got visions, I got voices calling me Raven, and I'm listening to the Corvins in the fucking Raisin. Well, a lot of that shit's not important for this, but there was one thing about CIA ain't around me, nigga. Was that stubborn? Acting as if they didn't have the power to do the things to me that they may or may not think that they do? Or was it me recognizing that there is no CIA watching over you? It's just the fact that you think you can be controlled. And then to bring it full circle, two things can be true at the same time. Even if there was some sort of organization that wanted you to feel weak, they could only exist if you felt weak. They could only exist if you felt watched, if you felt this, if you felt that. It's all a reflection of you. It's all a reflection of your being. Scratching my left elbow. Left is receiving. Elbow is what? Elbow grease? Overworking? Saying too much? Okay, we done. I just want to keep talking though. Like I have a lot to say. You know? We have a lot to say. I have a lot to say. However we want to put it, you know? It's like, but I don't even like living from the eye. Spitting? Am I spitting? Am I making sense? I don't like living from the eye. Unless the I is the we. You know what I mean? It's like, I want to integrate myself to become I, but I also don't want to do anything for me. Like, I want to do things for others because it does things for me. You know what I mean? And like, I want to love people even though they don't agree with my perspective. And I want to love that they don't get it yet. And I want to love that they don't see me yet, because that's the only way that they'll actually come around. And what I see in my dreams is the true, absolute thing that I could experience if I didn't have so much fucking trauma and beliefs about how things needed to be. Holding on to energy. Also being superficial, right? Like, I made this comment the other day about, like, there's another reason that sometimes I just don't need the eye. Maybe it's the wrong eye. Maybe it's the eye of others, but it ain't the eye. That felt really powerful. Posture is kind of mid, man. See, like, even shit like that, like, although you're being self-aware, self-awareness works like this. I see this, I change it. Oh, I'm afraid. I'm confident. My posture's bad, I have perfect posture. I'm feeling insecure about this, I love this. I'm not good enough, I'm more than good enough. Just, hold on, y'all. We gotta hit you with a little, I need to just get a little shake in real quick. Just hit it with a little hump the screen real quick. I know you mad, I know you hate it, I know you don't like it, I know it make you angry, I know it aggravate you, I know you're getting pissed off right now just because I'm doing my own thing, and I love you for it. And maybe I need to stop knowing that. Maybe I need to stop doing that. Maybe I need to let go of all this trauma that I'm holding in my hips, and maybe I need to let go of the ancestors that ain't really serving this. Because, nigga, how narcissistic do you gotta be to name your kid after yourself for 3 to 4 generations? That's fucking gay. I don't want to be like you. I don't want to carry on your lineage. I don't want to carry on your karma. I don't want to carry on the things that you can't let go of, that you pass down to your kids and your kids' kids. But also, it ain't even my real grandfather. And maybe my dad always knew a little more than I let him believe, because it's just my right to grow up and fucking deny what you say to me. It's my right, and it's actually pretty necessary, if I'm being honest. And I dislike that people can't accept their faults, but I also don't expect you to apologize. It's like, it's such a big thing for my karmic father to give me an apology. It also took him a year. But it ain't the time, it's what shifted. The second that it shifted is what changed it. When I said to myself, one day I will die, and these people will try to bring me back into my attachments. And with that being said, I energetically release my desire to feed what they want from me ever again. They want me to be angry and to speak on what they did so they can twist what I say and make me look crazy. I'll always look crazy to whoever I look crazy to, and that's fine. And I don't need anybody to see me differently. And anybody that don't see me that way was never supposed to be there. And we never finished. We're seeing CY peace of mind. Why peace of mind? Click, 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 click. Left side, jaw, speaking. Literally speaking. Jaw is clicking. Uncomfortable. Discomfort. Tinnitus? I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. I don't know. I met this beautiful girl. We'll call her A. And she was really cool until maybe I started to perceive her differently. And she really liked me until I scared her. So maybe she wasn't meant for me anyway. But it's like, I scared her. She stopped talking to me. I stopped talking to her because I'm not playing this fucking game with you. And then she went on a 3-month trip to wherever she went. You see this? You see this? I don't gotta be perfect right now or ever to be the messenger that I am. But I also see where my body is showing me so much stress, right? You're, right? I actually don't want y'all to see something. I don't want to show you that. And maybe we're gatekeeping, and that's okay. I know that the universe doesn't need to gatekeep anything, and I know that it's my responsibility to show the art that I create and the things that I create, to show the things that I do, and maybe somebody can learn from them. I know that it's my responsibility. You know what's so interesting is that we've been putting our most vulnerable experiences and things, left testicle, receiving, and pain. We've been putting our most vulnerable experiences, left testicle masculinity, feminine energy, receiving. So you're not receiving the answer properly. We've been putting some of our vulnerable moments on separate accounts because we don't want those. Everybody that's watching us is judging us. Nobody's supporting us, but they're judging us. And a couple people are supporting us now because we called them out. Leaf, turn over a new leaf. In what sense? Turn over a new leaf as in turn over a new leaf with those that already exist, or turn over a leaf with new people. We came across something the other day. It's cloudy today, huh? Interesting. We came across something the other day, and it was something along the lines that narcissists or something, or like selfish people or something, blah, 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 blah. They just find new friends. They just find new people. They let go of all the old shit. Sometimes I wonder if I'm the narcissist. And the answer is yes. It's like we're actually all capable of being whatever that we choose to be. And so it's like, again, like God picks who he picks. God picks who they pick. I don't believe that God is a he, and it's more likely to be a they, them, than it is a he. It's less likely to be any of a gender and more of an it and a thing and an existence. And so, like, anyway, I mean, look, you see men, women, we could be wrong on this one, but in this reality, it seems that there's only actually men and women, and then those that try not to be men and women. We could be wrong about that, though. In this reality, in this world, in this plane of existence, because I've supposedly heard that there's aliens out there that they have 8 different genders, and they actually are biologically different. We don't have that here right now. Just an opinion that I have. An opinion that I have that could be wrong as well is that when you look in the mirror and you see yourself and you're a man or a woman and you don't like it, maybe I'm being too egotistical. Because again, those are things that I was somehow taught. And would I really care if it wasn't because I was taught that by my family and by my parents? Very, very insecure, narcissistic people. So back to this idea that be careful that you don't become the monsters that you hunt, and that God favors those that sometimes fall into the temptations that they do, but they're ultimately always protected, no matter if they spend time in jail, no matter if they blah, 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 because all it'll ever show you is where your life is going based on the choices that you're making. Ease, release, tension, relax. Let go. I'm getting this feeling of stop trying to be a teacher. Stop trying to tell everybody everything. Stop focusing on them and focus on you. Do it organically, do it naturally. Get off the internet. And I says, I want to be seen. I deserve to be seen. and I'm sick of feeling like it's taking so much time. And you know what we're going to say to that. That's the fun of it. We came to these intuitive receivings this week about just not being on certain levels of social media. Just not even trying. It's just fear. If I don't do it, somebody else will. Nobody can take what's divinely gifted to you. Nobody can take what's divinely gifted to you. I just wants its own shit. I just wants to be. Oh God, this clicking. I is very frustrated. I is so angry. I is why. Why can't I just be perfect? There's no fun in perfect. That's like the answer that we're inclined to give, right? Oh, we're not supposed to be perfect because imperfection is perfect. No. Tired. Yawning. You're just not weird enough yet. That's what I say to myself. Everybody's a rapper. Anybody could copy raps. Anybody could be a rapper. They can't be you, though. I feel really tired right now. I feel really drained. I don't care to heal everybody, and I don't care to show everybody the truth. I care to be seen. I care to be loved and respected for the things that I create. And I care to be in tune with my own body and call all my energy back, and please just leave me alone. I really struggle with... We just said something to ourselves earlier in this video that was pretty funny about people not healing themselves before healing others. That's me. I want to be Saint, but I'm still being Nathan. I'm using Saint for the wrong reasons. Losing the plot, and I'm losing the focus. And back to my father. He chose his stepdad's name for me. But he kept his last. No, he changed his last name as well. I just don't really care to be empathetic to them, because I just don't think that they have the free will to live. And it's like, I don't want to show them that they can have the free will to live, because why do I have to show you that? Sandwich? Tired. Yawn. Heart's racing. I just want to keep talking, guys. I feel really alone. When I'm talking to this computer, I feel like I'm talking to somebody. I don't want to talk about this with anybody else because it just don't benefit me to talk about it with regular people. I ain't ashamed of the things that I've experienced, the things that I've done, and the way that I look at it. Tired of that. Being seen don't mean you have to expose yourself. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. You can call me every name in the fucking book, I'm still gonna do my thing. And which of these energies are me actually speaking to me, and which of these energies are other energies trying to drain and feed on me? I know I'm not an asshole, and I know I'm not this, and I know I'm not that. And what if... You know what I mean? It's like, oof. I'm also feeling a shriveling in my scrotum. Something to do with masculinity, right? Like when I woke up today, I was like, damn, my shit's looking good. Like almost bigger, you know? Like I'm just feeling like myself. I'm feeling in my body. And then, not even almost, but that's just, you know, I'm just being humble over here. And so, humility is for losers. Literally, humility is for losers. Only losers are humble. And a reminder that people could listen to what you're saying, they still won't get what you're saying. You know you're a good person. And maybe, just maybe, the only reason that you don't see that outwardly is because you don't allow it to exist. There's so much of this like unhealed people getting online and saying things like, become the villain if you're the villain in someone's story. Don't do that. Don't become the villain for any other reason than you want to be a villain. Villains and heroes have the same origin stories. They just want people to suffer, or they don't want people to experience what they've experienced. And I don't want whoever watches my whatever I have and listens to my music and these things to experience what I experienced. And so when I speak these things into life, like they're not responsible for creating life, and I put them out and I'm as powerful as I am, and it's like, okay, if I look gross, if I look stupid, if I'm spitting, if I whatever, like, you're not hearing me. You're not hearing me. So I don't care what you think. I'm feeling hungry right now, and I'm also reluctant to eat because it's like, why do I need to eat? Not because I don't love food or anything like that, but it's like I don't need to eat. That being said, I got leftover pizza and wings in the fridge, and I would love to eat them. And then it's like, oh, we don't eat leftovers, that's poor behavior. No, it's conservative. Like, if you have good food that you can still eat, and you don't eat leftovers? Like, what? I don't get that. But then I get it because, like, energetically, you don't want past energy. It's just like, I love leftover pizza. It's better the second and third day than it is the first day. I love leftover wings as long as they're still good. And it's like, okay, well, is the refrigerator an invention that actually kind of hurts us? Because, like, why do we have things that can last for longer than they can last? Kind of intuitively just got a yes. But if it weren't for fridges and freezers, we wouldn't be able to store meat. And then also, this idea of homesteading is slightly selfish, right? Like, we used to live in tribes where we would hunt and eat the animal together, so any leftovers would be dried and jerkified. You're a jerk. Oh, too much, whoa, I don't know, whoa, okay, y'all. I mean, a little bit much, but we might, hopefully not, because that would really ruin the rest of this video. I don't have the editing software to get rid of that. Hey, maybe I will start an OnlyFans, but I'll just post shit like this and just talk. Like, why wouldn't you pay me for my shit? I'm gonna give you my work for free? Please. I mean, I got faith that I caught it before it happened, but I'm like 12% sure that I might have flashed the camera. 12%. I'm gonna just keep going anyway. For all I know, this won't even save. Ooh, actually, let me check, make sure this saves.